So this is obviously probably a very busy time of year for a lot of retailers in town. What are you hearing? How are they coping? I guess florists still would be doing the business that they do. What are you hearing?
You know what? We are hearing very little. And again, this is like the problem that we've had since COVID with retailers not advertising. We know that some of the restaurants in town have special Valentine dinners, specials for Valentine's weekend, and are hoping to see an uptick, of course, in people ordering their takeout and pickup sorts of things, because there still is limited seating. And as you know, in a normal year, the Valentine's weekend would just be mobbed if you hadn't made a reservation weeks in advance. So we're not hearing a lot from the retailers. I think they're just hoping that people will remember them, that there are places in town where you can buy chocolate, you can buy flowers, you can buy gifts, and I think that they're just very hopeful.
The power of the bee, by the way, everyone knows you guys. I was talking to someone in Wilton about the feature that we're doing, and it turns out that she owns a gift shop, the Queen Street Gifts.
Oh, Queen Street Gifts.
And she had been featured in the Bee as well.
Yes, she has been. Queen Street opened up, I believe they opened up shortly in 2012, and that was under different owners. And it's been a very popular gift shop since. Situated right there on Queen Street, almost at the intersection of Churchill. They carry a wide variety of some interesting things, just a fun shop to go into.
So there's this synergistic relationship between retail, small businesses, and the Bee. The new Bee is out. What are we talking about?
Well, as usual, COVID is one of the issues that comes up every single week. And we had a senior citizen here in town share his experience with trying to register to get his vaccine. And what he did was he turned to the Newtown Bee because he figured we would be the place that would have some facts for him. And indeed, we were able to help him, and he got registered. He got his first shot. This turns out that it's something that's going on across the country. Local community newspapers are a resource for people who are frustrated with trying to find out about where and when they can get a vaccine. This particular gentleman who spoke with us, he's not the only person who called the Newtown Bee, hoping that we could point them in the right direction. And a lot of them didn't quite understand about going to the town website to find that pre-registration form. And sometimes it's as simple as that.
Now, I've read that we're trending in the right direction.
We are trending in the right direction, and thankfully we have had no new deaths. 60 is a lot to lose in our community to this, but that has remained stable for this week, which is really good. Pre-registration now is available at the town website for people 75 and up. So the clinics are having a very, very good turnout. We have a photo package that's in this week's paper about the last weekend's vaccination clinic. And that's exclusive for print readers. And I think, that's something I really want people to know, is that not everything goes on our website. There's a lot of great photo packages and things like that that are only in print.
I think I've mentioned I pick up my copy at the Big Y when I do my grocery shopping. Yeah. We did talk this week on WPKN, and we used Dan Voquet's story about COVID. It's one of the few spots of good news, as I mentioned, that we've heard recently. What are you hearing from the different facilities in town like Churchill, and how are they? The vaccinations went well, and there's been no adverse reaction, and the residents are all doing okay?
Everybody's doing fine. We haven't heard of anybody having major problems at all with the first or the second vaccination that they're getting. Even our elderly population say, like, a couple of them felt a little tired, and the arm was a little sore, but nothing that was crippling them in any way. As a matter of fact, speaking of Churchill Village, they had a special celebration that we have a nice little photo package on this past week, where one of their residents celebrated her 103rd birthday.
God bless.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So, they're doing good. The vaccination clinics have been popular and nobody has complained about any repercussions from getting these vaccinations. So that's such a good thing to hear. Can I tell you about, we have
a new series?
Yeah. Okay. So in this week's issue, we have the beginning of a new series called the ABCs of Newtown, where we'll be taking in alphabetical order, something in Newtown. And this week it's A is for agricultural fair. And I think that people might be going like, what agricultural fair? Well, the late 19th century and early 20th century, there was a huge fair that took place on what is now Taylor Field behind Hawley School. I think people are going to find this a really interesting bit of history.
I certainly didn't know about it. What are it's ABC, so that's A. What else?
I don't want to reveal anything.
Okay.
I can't give it all away, but this is going to be one of those, it's not going to be every single week, but it will be a semi-regular series as we go through the whole alphabet.
Okay. We look forward to that, and we look forward to warmer weather. I think we're starting to see maybe there's a little inkling that we're getting through the winter, right? We've handled snow removal, I think, splendidly in this town.
We do a really great job. There's 275 miles of road or something that these people have to plow, and they are out there right away as soon as they hear that there's going to be an issue. I will say, so far as warming up, well, the governor did issue a severe cold weather protocol yesterday that runs through next Wednesday. And people are asked if they have any issues to call 211, which will help them find a shelter if they are somehow not feeling protected where they are.
I want to get to the governor in a second. He delivered his budget this week.
Yeah, he did.
We'll talk about that momentarily, but this is, with President's Day, this is normally a time of year when the kids are home from school. Give us an update on the schools and what kids are doing with recess or any small break that's coming up.
The kids are off on the 15th for Martin Luther King's birthday. And I think that a lot of the families are just going to be grateful to not have to get up and do any kind of remote learning, to get the kids on the buses and then off again, right after lunch, and get them going on their at-home remote learning. I think the really good thing is the fact that there is snow. So I do expect to see a number of people outside.
Okay, then you can come over and take my daughter out in it.
All right, come on, put on your boots.
It is high back there. I'll tell you, in my backyard on Botsford Hill, it's high.
Oh yeah. It's great, because we haven't had a winter with this much snow in a couple of years. I think that you're going to see a lot of people, in any time they have off in the next couple of weeks, taking advantage of the great outdoors that we have here in Newtown.
Yeah, and we really are very lucky, and our parks are wonderful. I kid, but we are enjoying it very much. As I mentioned earlier this week, the governor laid out his spending projections for the next year. What does this mean for Newtown? What are you hearing?
We haven't had a lot of time to analyze the budget. We did put it up on our website, newtownbee.com, so people can look at it. We have heard from Representative Belinsky. He's not real happy with this 2-year state budget that's been proposed. And I think that the appropriations committees are going to be taking a very, very close look at some of the things. In particular, Representative Belinsky seems concerned that some of the funding seems to be coming from things that have not really passed through legislation yet, counting on money from sale of marijuana, counting on, sports betting, that sort of thing, those are still kind of in flux. And I think that he's concerned about those being kind of considered as a done deal and where money is going to come from. So the appropriations committees will be doing a lot more close look at this budget.
It's like a couple of years ago when everything was based on the toll projections, and we cover on WPKN a lot of the surrounding towns, and it's not a unique feeling where sometimes you could feel a little bit disconnected from Hartford and the decisions that are made up there.
You can. I think that our representatives do a pretty good job of bringing the news back to Newtown and, sending out press releases to us to let us know what they are working with up at the state capitol.
Nancy, what else will we find in this coming edition of the Bee that's available now?
The one that's available right now, there's a girls' hockey preview in our sports section. And I'm not sure that people are aware that we have 3 Newtown High School young women who are part of a co-op team of girls' hockey based out of Monroe. And I think they'll enjoy, hearing a little bit about what the girls' hockey team has coming up for them. It's been an exciting time this last week or so when sports has been able to get underway again in the schools. The kids are very excited. The coaches are very excited about it. And we're happy to have sports to cover again.
Forgive me, but what is a co-op team?
It means that it's not exclusively a Newtown team or exclusively a Monroe team. Mm-hmm. They have kids from around the area who are part of the team.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've mentioned before that my nephew plays in Ridgefield, and it's a whole lifestyle. Boy, I'll tell you, they really, really are. You can't be half into this. You have to be all in and committed between the traveling and the gear, and it's a whole lifestyle.
And it seems like if I know from my neighbors who were involved with hockey a few years ago, when the ice is available for practice is sometimes pretty early in the morning.
You better get that pot of coffee ready.
Maybe a couple pots.
So we've discussed the schools, we've discussed the coronavirus. I teased that we're looking at warmer weather, but maybe now is the time to start thinking about different activities and stuff for the spring.
I think that's a little premature yet, to tell you the truth. I think we have a lot of winter sports still under our belt before we get into the spring. You will see, though, that the Parks and Recreation Department has a lot of their signups available already for the spring. So if people want to contact the Parks and Rec through the town website, that's also a really good place to, maybe you feel a little warmer if you start thinking, I can sign up for something that's going to happen in May.
Well, and like I said, it's the great thing is you can, mask up and walk in, and they're very, very helpful at the window, and you could go through the brochures right there and choose the different things that you want to do.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a lot like getting those seed catalogs that are starting to come, and you start thinking about all the little plants that are going to be growing, and the fact that you could do something really exciting in the warm weather.
Well, listen, happy St. Valentine's. Anything you want to add?
In the Newtown Bee, of course, let's not forget that we're discussing the budgets as well. Public hearings have gone on, and there's still a lot of input needed from the public regarding these budgets.
The last time we talked, you said that there was very little, if any, right?
Yeah, and that's still a bit of a problem. There was a meeting last night of the Board of Finance with the public hearing, and not a lot of people took part in it. I think that as the next couple of weeks, as it starts to really build up, we're going to start hearing from more people. I hope we are, because again, decision makers can't make decisions if they don't know what the public really wants.
Yeah. All right. Well, make use of the Zoom, folks. Right? I mean, is that's the platform that they use?
They do. Well, some of the boards use Zoom. Some of them it's just a phone in for the public.
Okay.
So you have to go to the town website, look at the agenda, and all that information is available there for every meeting.
Yeah. And as I remind folks, every week in the comment section on YouTube, you'll find the link to the Bee. Subscribe there, and then I guess subscribe to the YouTube channel. You've already subscribed to this one, so subscribe to that one.
Yes. Yeah. We always welcome people to newtownbee.com. We welcome people to reading our print edition, and just hope that we are giving the community what we've always given them, the news that they need.